today's video, I wanted to talk to you about capsule wardrobe staples. Now, if you're a regular here on my channel, you might remember that I posted a video some years ago called The Perfect Basic Wardrobe, and it pretty much went viral over the years. And while I do still personally look at all those pieces I mentioned in that video as great wardrobe staples for a capsule wardrobe, I do also want to make it very clear that that's my interpretation of wardrobe staples. I think I mentioned that in that video as well. So your capsule wardrobe staples might look completely different, and that's totally okay. I think many people have tried to follow capsule wardrobe principles and then later came to the conclusion that it wasn't for them. It could be because you've kind of just replicated someone else's style, but then somewhere along the way you've forgotten all about your own unique style identity. If you'd like to learn more about developing your style identity and finding those core capsule wardrobe staples within your own wardrobe, make sure to check out my styling services and my online capsule wardrobe masterclass, particularly lesson 1, which is all about developing your style profile. Because a true capsule wardrobe is meant to celebrate your uniqueness. With that small disclaimer out of the way, let's have a look at some of the capsule wardrobe staples that I'd buy again in a heartbeat if I was starting all over again. More specifically, those that I've had in my wardrobe for over 5 years in some shape or form, and that I expect to keep in my wardrobe moving forward as well. Because that's the beauty of a well-curated capsule wardrobe. It will really teach you to wear what you have for longer and appreciate it a lot more. So some of these might have been switched up a little bit through time. I've either found a better quality replacement for them or similar, or the previous item might have been so worn out that I went on to a new piece. But most of these items I've actually had for around 4 to 6 years. I love these items so much. I feel great when wearing them. They never let me down, and they truly form the backbone of my capsule wardrobe. More importantly, this way of cutting to the bone has really taught me to feel more confident in my own skin, to feel at peace with my style and achieve a healthier self-image, which I think are some of the deeper pros that you can potentially experience when you finally find the core of your style identity. Because it is more than clothes, it's you. So first up is my Everlane trench coat that every time we switch from winter to spring, I'm so excited to be reunited with. It's just such a classic piece, and it makes any casual look a little bit more chic and more polished because of the classic vibe and details of the coat. The lining inside has started to rip up a little bit, so I might have to investigate the price of having it redone. Could be worth it as it's still in great condition on the outside. Everlane doesn't make this particular style anymore, but they do have a few similar options available. I do also think it's a great neutral color. It's not too warm, it's not too cool either, so I would say it's a great universal color for most color types. Next up, we have my gray herringbone blazer, also from Everlane. Say what you will about Everlane and their radical transparency, which I know in the slow fashion discussions out there, they have been criticized a little bit for over the years. But to me, some of the pieces in my wardrobe that I loved the most has been from Everlane. So the quality is just really good. They know how to make good basics that fit well. And yeah, to me, there are just so many reasons why I still love Everlane and why it's still one of my absolute favorite brands, especially in terms of longevity, which is of course one of the most important things to consider when it comes to mindful consumption. So last year I actually bought a pair of 8 boots to replace my Acne Jensen boots, and while I do love the new pair a lot, the quality is great, they're super versatile, they're so beautiful, they are just a little less practical because of the slightly higher heel. So I recently decided to take my Acne Jensen boots to the cobbler again because I had actually stored them away, and while I do think they look quite worn, I think they still have lots of wear left in them, and I've really missed that slightly lower heel, and they're just the perfect boot for day-to-day, especially if you're standing or walking a lot. So after taking a break from them, I've kind of realized that I just can't do without them. So if these end up being torn completely apart one day, I might have to find the exact same pair pre-loved somewhere. I've had them since 2017, and bear in mind that I bought them secondhand at the time. So the cost per wear of these has been no less than amazing. And they make make any outfit I wear instantly more edgy, more stylish, and the right footwear can really transform any look like that. Plus, at this point, they've become almost like a sentimental piece for me too. I've worn them so much for so many different occasions, to work, to parties, to festivals, traveling, and for different events. I even wore them a lot through pregnancy. They're simply connected to so many great memories at this point that I'm kind of reminded of all of that every time I wear them. And I think that's quite powerful, and I think it takes slow fashion principles to the next level when a piece of clothing has like a sentimental value to you. Now, this particular white tee is not one that I've had for 5 years. This is one I've only had for a little more than a year. I do find that white tees are quicker worn out, so I have switched those up from time to time. Finding the perfect fit has also been a little bit tricky at times, but this is the boxy tee from Organic Basics. And to me, this truly is the most perfect white t-shirt. I love the binding at the neckline. I love the heavyweight cotton, and then the boxy fit is just spot on for me. And although I was gifted this specific piece through a previous collaboration with them, I'd buy it with my own money again if I had to. This is another one of those pieces I've switched up over time, but nevertheless I've worn a lot over the past 6 or 7 years. It is of course a classic button-down shirt. I love wearing this shirt as a way to polish off my more casual outfits, and this particular item is a hand-me-down from my husband, so it's a shirt that he didn't use anymore. The brand is Lindbergh, so it's in rather good quality, and the fact that it's a men's shirt also means that it's a little bit more slouchy and oversized, which I really like because it makes it feel less strict and more casual, but still put together. So next is another shirt which I've really rediscovered my love for recently. I've kept it in storage for quite a while, but now I seem to be wearing it non-stop again. I'm talking about my light blue denim shirt from Moss Copenhagen that I bought in, I think, around 2016. So it's made from lyocell, which means that it's really slinky and lightweight, and it's also super breathable, so it's great for especially the warmer months. Again, it's one of those classic casual hybrids that just falls perfectly in line with my casual style identity, as one of those pieces that make you look like you've made a bit more of an effort, but without compromising on comfort. These particular sneakers are from 2021. Again, here's an item that I often feel will get worn out quicker, but there's generally something about Veja sneakers that I really love in terms of longevity. So although they look pretty worn out on the inside, I mean, that's not something you can see when you're wearing them, but on the outside they are actually quite easy to clean, and I still think they look great. So usually I'll wash the shoelaces and then scrub them off on the outside. There's just something about the material that Veja uses that make the stains go away quite easily, which is great. Of course, they don't look fresh from the box anymore, but I do still think they have lots of wear left in them, and especially when paired with more classic and dressy items to balance out the roughness of the shoes, I think they are still great, and I'd definitely buy these again if I had to. Now, these leather pants are a newer secondhand purchase, but I've actually loved leather pants since probably around 2012 when I was studying fashion design. I found it hard to find a pair that really fit well. They can be quite pricey too, so both in terms of sustainability and also to save some money, I've always gone for the secondhand options, particularly bought online. And with that, with online shopping, especially secondhand, it's sometimes a bit of a trial and error process to find the right fit. But I finally feel like I found a good quality pair that sits well and a shape that I really love. So these are originally from COS, but as I said, they are bought pre-loved. So they're kind of a straight barrel leg fit. They have a super high waist, and then I've simply cut a bit of the length so that they now just cut right above my ankle. They're such a staple for me because I do have elements of that slightly more edgy style personality hidden within me too. So I feel like they can really dress up any outfit, both for day and night, and make it feel just a tad more edgy. A A biker jacket is also something I've always loved wearing, again, probably since around 2010. Similar to what I just mentioned with the leather pants, I've always found pre-loved versions in a quest to be more sustainable and also to find the slightly more press-friendly options out there. So I have two biker jackets in my wardrobe that I love equally as much. One is a more classic black biker jacket in recycled leather from Peluche Coco. I love the detailing of it, and the material is just so thick and sturdy, and it's just so rock and roll. I love it. And then the other one is a secondhand find from Mash. It's beige, so a little bit more gentle on my coloring. I love them both, and again, especially when I'm wearing more casual outfits or even something slightly more feminine, I love toughening things up with an edgy biker jacket. In 2019, I got familiar with Navy Grey, which is a British slow fashion knitwear brand, and I have a grey relaxed sweater from them that I absolutely love. I even wore it a lot through my pregnancy in 2020 as well, so again, I feel like we have another one of those items that have reached a certain level of sentimental value to me. I've worn it so much in so many different setups, and for that reason, it just feels extra special to me. Sadly, it did shrink a little in the wash at some point, and even though I've managed to kind of stretch it out again, I do prefer a slightly looser fit. So at some point I might replace it with the same style, maybe in a size larger, so there's a little wiggle room in there if ever it should shrink again. I'm always super careful when washing knitwear, so besides not washing it too often in the first place, I always wash it at the lowest possible cycle. I wash it at a low hand wash degree, and I also choose a wool program on our machine, but sometimes it just doesn't pan out for some reason. I'm not perfect there, you know, and I think many of us have probably been there. You can't beat straight leg jeans. Although I'm a firm believer that skinny jeans are not outdated, regardless of what some people might say, I must admit that straight leg jeans are what I wear the most, and I have done since probably around 2016. It's a pretty universal leg shape too, which I find look flattering on most people if you're into that kind of look. And I particularly love going for the high-rise kind to give my legs more length, as my torso and legs are otherwise pretty similar in length, and so that's a way I like to balance things out vertically. I've had different kinds in and out of my wardrobe through the years, especially after pregnancy. I've kind of had to replace some of the older pairs that were more of a mid-rise, because today they just cut right into that postpartum soft spot on my belly, and I'm not very comfortable with that. So a slightly higher rise right at my belly button, or even a bit higher, is actually what I prefer today to kind of keep things in place. I love the slim jeans from Armed Angels, but Everlane does also make great high quality jeans that sit very well. My favorites are the 90s cheeky jeans and then the way high fit too. It's such a staple that I can't live without. I think jeans are probably the most worn kind of item in my wardrobe of all times. I wear jeans almost every single day, all year round, and if I'm not wearing jeans in the summer, it's a denim skirt or denim shorts. So yeah, denim is definitely a must-have for me. The final wardrobe staple I'd buy again in an instant if I had to is a classic wool coat. So the one I have is from 2020 and it's a secondhand number originally from COS. I love it very much, and similar to all the other slightly more classic pieces I have in my wardrobe, it's one of those items that will instantly lift your outfits and make you look more smart and more put together, especially during the colder months. On my wish list, I do have a jade green coat, which I fell in love with last year. The one I saw at the time was from Mango, so I'm not even sure it's still available anymore, so I'd probably have to hunt it down in a pre-loved version if I can't find it. Nevertheless, it's really where my style has evolved a lot recently, is when it comes to color. I still love my neutrals. I still like keeping staples like all those I've mentioned today pretty basic and neutral in colors, because that's ultimately the framework for my wardrobe. But I've also discovered how powerful it is to inject some nice colors into the basic wardrobe as a way to make your looks feel a little bit more personal, but also add another element of style that is a little less predictable, I guess. So I think that jade green would suit my existing color scheme perfectly. It would go well with white, gray, blue, beige, and pretty much all the colors I'd wear during autumn and winter. So even though it's more of an accent color, it would still be super wearable and easy for me to style. So there you have it, guys. My 12 most worn, most loved wardrobe staples for the past 5 years or so that I'd buy again in a heartbeat if I were starting all over with my capsule wardrobe. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to check out the additional resources that I mentioned in the beginning of this video if you want to find your own style identity and your own core wardrobe staples. I will make sure to link all of that down below this video for you. With that, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, do make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe before you leave because I'd love to have you around. Take care and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.